For this episode, we're going to be doing something that wasn't really planned out, or it was planned out, but it wasn't planned to be what it is come to be today. So originally, we are just going to build one tree farm, and that was going to be a 2x2 spruce tree farm. But someone in the Discord suggested that we do a whole perimeter with all types of tree farms inside of that one perimeter. So we take your guys' suggestion seriously, and we're gonna go with it. So thank you to Coda in the Discord for requesting that, or suggesting that, rather. Requesting a bit of everything, but suggesting that in the Discord. We definitely do try to take into consideration all of your suggestions. Whether we do it or not is completely, if it fits, it fits. If not, then fortunately we probably won't be able to do it. But something like this that we were already planning to do, and we get that suggestion, we'll definitely move forward with it if we do like it. So yeah, if you're in Discord, there is a link down in the description below if you want to join that. And yeah, a bunch of things there. But yeah, so today we're going to be doing a whole perimeter for a tree farm area. So we'll have every single type of tree there is that we can farm. So that's oak, spruce, birch, jungle, acacia, dark oak. We're going to have another 2x2 spruce for just pure logs if we need them quickly. And then we're going to have a bee nest farm as well. So that's also another birch farm, but that's fine. And then we'll have both another tree types in there. The universal one will also do red mushrooms. Sadly, doesn't do brown mushrooms because they are a bit different and more difficult to handle. We really don't need one, if I'm being honest with you. If we do, we'll make it at some point if we don't really need it. We don't really need the regular mushroom one, but the universal one is such a cool thing that it harvests 6 types of trees in one, which is very, very interesting to look at. But yeah, so we got to do that, and we're going to take the piston bolt here, which we made. So we have a different tree banner. I think it's a bit better than the other one we used to have over here. So that's just a standard tree. This one has a bit more detail to it and still is doable in survival, which is pretty cool. And then we have our piston bolt here with all different types of wood and just the brown concrete. I think it works pretty good. The green on the side's a nice accent from all of the logs on the side here. But yeah, so let's go over to the perimeter and we'll see what we got going on there. Alright, so when we arrive in the perimeter here, we have our storage that I designed. Not really, something that's too special, but it does include storage for all of the tree types that we're farming and everything. And most of it is important. The most important part is there's a large quantity of storage, because obviously this will all be filled with shulker boxes. If we go over to here, you can see that we have some from testing. These are all planks because we have the crafter for that one as well, because that would be used for pistons. So I thought it'd be a good idea to have some logs crafted into planks and then some will go into the regular storage here. But yeah, so the log with the leaves indicates what tree type is on the side here for storage. So dark oak, jungle will be here, oak will be there. Spruce is put up at different things. So spruce has 3 slots for logs and 4 slots for planks. That's just because we have the fastest rates for that one, so I wanted to do that if we need that. Birch on the left here, acacia over here, and then 2 other types right here. And then in the middle here we'll have the mushroom storage as well as the bee nest one from that farm. We really don't need too much storage for that, and I just thought it'd be cool to use the space above the portal, which I think looks quite well. And look at the floor here and the roof. But yeah, so we got to do the tree farms, which you might see that some of them are built up already, like the 2x2 spruce one, but we got to do a couple more. So there'll be one in each corner, basically. That's why they have these little exits here. But yeah, so lots of work to do here. And we'll get to build in some tree farms, and we'll see where we go from there. Alright, so as you can see here, we have the spruce tree farm fully in action here. It's 461,000 logs an hour. You can see just how quick it gets that tree out of that chamber right there. So 12 gain ticks, so close to 2 every single second. But this thing is actually crazy. I have to go so far away and in free cam to actually be able to see anything without getting 10 FPS, and I'm still only getting about 30 to 40. So yeah, so this is how crazy this thing is. Look at the bottom ones here; they get the most logs, and yeah, you can see that we have funneled them all over to here, and then we have two different modes. So we're currently, even though this can't keep up, we are currently sending them all to planks, and then whatever does not get selected or collected, we send it back to the regular log storage. Because doing like 150 to 200 of these guys to keep up with this rate of the farm wouldn't be very practical. So if you're in plank mode, which we have over here in this UI here, it'll also give you logs that if you're just in log mode, just the logs should be able to keep up, I believe. But I think this is the best mode to run in because you'll get planks and we'll get the logs as well. So we just have a bunch of regular AutoCrafters, the most simple AutoCrafter you do. Comparator, dust, and if you want to tile it, you can put a target block, that way that the dust gets redirected into the hopper here. But yeah, so this is going to be if we never need bulk wood quickly, because obviously this is the fastest and the best for bone meal. So that is for this. So we have some other farms that you can see. We have the little bee nest one over here as well. This is just different type of tree farm. Obviously it's birch, so we already will have that with the universal one we'll build up soon. But yeah, so this will give us the bee nest that we also need as well. For honey, if we ever need that as well, which we probably will at some point. This guy is working, we'll let it run for a little bit. We don't have too much bone meal to AFK for quite some time. As you can see, our storage isn't the best. We could, however, send this up a bit higher, but yeah, so it's working. We have two more farms to build. We need to do the universal one. That includes dark oak and mushrooms as well. That's all in one farm. And then we also need to do the nether tree farm. So the warped and a crimson one. So I can do that in a bit. And then obviously we'll have to do main storage, but that will take some time. It'll be in the center here somewhere. But then a lot of decorations to go into here. We have the full floor in as well, which you probably saw earlier. But yeah. So this is working, and now we're on to the should be simpler farms. This one is obviously the max, or probably the fastest you could get, so it includes a lot of things, so hopefully everything else is a bit more simpler next. Alright, so another tree farm has been added to the perimeter here. You saw in the last clip we did the not the dark oak, the 2x2 spruce tree, so the 461,000 logs an hour on over there. And this one we have the what they call the ultra universal tree farm. That's because it can also, like any other universal tree farm, there's 5 types right here, but it also does mushrooms, red mushrooms, as well as dark oak, which is the reason why I give it that name. But yeah, so we have this one here. It's not the fast, like these universal ones are never fast. But being able to farm them all here, and since we're going to have 4 different tree farms, 4 corners, works really, really well with all of this. So we got just the pure speed one for that one, for all the logs we need quickly. And then we have all the tree types here, and then we'll have a bee nest ones as well, and then the nether ones, of course. You could probably get them all down to 1, but that's not really the thing. This is perfectly fine. Main reason we did this one because it includes dark oak, so we don't need to have a 5th farm just for dark oak. But yeah, so I'll select the birch and spruce mode here. We'll go use those ones, show the farm off a little bit. I think we'll do this one and the dark oak one. Those are the main interesting ones. You could say that red mushrooms also interesting, but we really never need that many red mushrooms. But yeah, so we'll stand over here, and we will watch this one in action. So you can see it's still pretty quick, but obviously these can definitely be sped up quite a bit. You need to have this weird piston layout for the other tree types, so... But yeah, it's got some weird mechanics here. You don't see in too many tree farms, is these... they don't use sticky pistons. We are using the pistons to push back on each side, which is something I haven't seen before, but it does kind of work. So we should just also switch the birch mode here as well. Let's do that. Shouldn't need to change modes at all. They are essentially the same thing. But so we got birch mode going as well. As you can see, they only go a little bit, they go a bit lower than the spruce one. And yeah, you can see it based off the other blocks in here. We have used the mushroom and all kind of things like that. But let's go change the mode here. I'm pretty sure it's important that you turn the farm off before you change modes. But yeah, so we'll grab some dark oak. We'll go to that one next. Throw all these guys in there. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna make some space in here for these blocks since that's not supposed to be there. But yeah, so we'll go to dark oak mode now. This is like one of the cool modes about this farm. It also is the fastest producing one, so it's like 28,000 compared to the 12,000-ish you get out of the rest of them. This one you need to have the minecart here that you go back and forth. You should just got to aim right about here, and we should start to put in place in everything. So yeah, this one obviously leaves the most logs per tree, because obviously you have 2 by 2 of it compared to 1 by 1 or 1 by 5, however tall the tree generates. But yeah, so this is why you get so much more in this mode. And then we just have a simple blast chamber here, where all the logs get pushed in, blown up, and then transported to a hopper right now. We need to do storage, but we're gonna have a bunch of space to do a bunch of shulker litters there, so that we can then transport it to the main storage in the center of the printer, which I am going to work on today on stream. So yeah, this thing, pretty good. Like I said, not the fastest, but it includes pretty much all the tree types in one farm, which is really, really cool to look at. But yeah, so we're gonna hop out of here, turn the farm off, and then yeah, go do some more work in this area, because we have 2 more farms to do. The bee nest one, which shouldn't take long at all. That one's very, very, very quickly to do, but we need to do the nether tree farm, which is quite big, but that's going to be worth it in a sense. We never really used too many of those, but like I said, in the beginning we were only going to build the spruce one behind me right there. Another tree farm down, 2 more to go. Let's get back to the grind. Alright, so big progress update here on the decoration and everything. As you can see, we have the giant tree basically in the center of the perimeter here. It's designed by Happy, one of our members on the server here, and it looks absolutely amazing. We'll turn on Vibrant instead. You can see the tree a little bit better. I can't really see it about too much. That's the spruce wood in the center, because you get that the most with the tree from on the other side over there. And then on the corner, or on the leaves, we have the lime and green concrete. I think it's a bit better than leaves, because it actually shows a bit of like color variation and stuff like that. Plus we're in like a desert, so the regular leaves wouldn't look too good. But yeah, lots of things to do that have been done here. We also have 4 of these bonemeal farms that do create about 27,000 bonemeal an hour per module. So we create roughly 100,000 bonemeal an hour here for the tree farms, which should be quite plenty. So these farms here, the bonemeal farms, were designed by Dark on Discord in the TM, or the Technical Minecraft Archive, which is a Discord that has a bunch of schematics and all these things in there. If you never need to use something, definitely go and see there. But yeah, so this guy creates about, like I said, 27,000 bonemeal an hour per module, and we have 4 of them on each wing here. And so we create about 100,000 bonemeal an hour if we have all 4 running. They are about 10 NMS I have tested, so we technically can run all 4 of them at the same time, as well as one of the tree farms that doesn't reuse too much on the server. So like the universal one or the bee nest one could also run in the background while these are running, but we don't really need to be honest, because we'll just run these to fill the storage up that we have, and then it'll go from there, and that'll last quite some time. So yeah, these guys fills itself up first, and then we will pack it into shulker box loaders here, which you can see by the tunnels here. We're turning the shaders off so you can see a little bit better. When we go under the tree, we have all of these water streams connected to most things. So the water one here takes the bone meal that was compacted into shulker boxes into the tree here, which then goes into our bulk storage. And this can hold about 5 million bone meal in its total. And then yeah, we have some other cool features here that we'll just explain in a little bit. But yeah, those all connect to the main tree as well. And then we have these down here. We'll take all of the drops and put it into the main storage underneath here in the base of the tree. So we have storage for pretty much everything here. Indicates by the log to the left or to the right is what stores there. So jungle, dark oak, and we have the two tree types there we haven't used yet. The acacia, a little bit of birch, spruce, which we use a lot for the tree, so there's not too much in there, but we have lots of planks. And then oak as well, which we haven't used the universal one yet. That's not too bad. Oak's not really something we need a lot of anyway, but we can do it really easily if we need to. So yeah, we have 4 of those coming from the bottom here, from each of the tree farms. And then we have the bone meal request, which is something I added here. So we'd have the shulker box on loaders. If this gets empty, we'll get a signal to send or to request a bone meal from our main storage, which is the top part that we showed up there. So all the bone meal gets took to the storage up top, which can hold about 5 million. And if any of the modules here get low on bone meal, basically once the last shulker box gets loaded into the system and there's no more in the backlog, basically what will happen is a signal will get sent through this rail line to the storage, and we have each one assigned to its own water stream here. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 on each corner, and then whatever one gets a signal, this will power this line up here, and then send these sticky pistons forward, creating an observer clock on all of these, and we'll just get us dispense 30 shulker boxes of bone meal, all in quick succession, and then those will make their way to whatever one requests the bone meal. We can simulate that, because we don't have any bone meal stored, just by breaking one of the rails here. So we can see that the water stream gets redirected here into its correct area. You heard the clicking, and then those bone meal those boxes would make their way up this water stream over here, and then delivered to the shulker box unloader. Then once that gets filled up, that will reset with this. So once it gets filled up, it won't send another signal to request more, which is what we really don't need, because I mean, 30 boxes of bone meal will last quite some time. Plus, it is, something that can happen all the time as long as we have bone meal in stock, which is why we will be running the bone meal farms to fill up that 5 million bone meal to get that all set up. future squishy here, we got to make sure we give proper credit to all of the creators for the tree farms here. So this 2x2 spruce tree farm that we made was by Floppy, and there will be a link in the description down below so you guys can go see this video that was posted on their channel about this farm here. It's a bit of an adaptation we did. We made the UI and everything, and shortcut box loaders and all that kind of thing, just attach that to the farm, but the whole farm was created by Floppy, and definitely go check them out because this farm is one of the most crazy tree farms I've ever seen. And the same thing, Floppy also did make this bee nest farm over here. Same thing what we did with all the other ones, we take the original design and then we just add some unloaders, shulker box loaders, and then all that kind of stuff to make the farm fit for our circumstances. But the full farm here was also designed by Floppy, and there's will be a link for this farm as well. This fungus farm here was created by Nemo. I hope I'm saying that right. There also would be a link to this original farm as well. Made some little adjustments to it, but everything was originally designed by Nemo, and we basically just worked out the storage here, the shulker box displays, and just transport all of that stuff to the storage. And then we have some additions with the bonemeal transport to then put that into the unloaders here. But yeah, the full farm here was designed by Nemo, and it works just perfectly fine if you actually build the farm right, which I should have, done some more testing myself instead of just changing some blocks over. So that's completely, my bad. The farm does work perfectly fine, as you can see by the stuff inside the blast chambers. This, what they call it, is the USB PF. What I like to call it the Ultra Universal Tree Farm. This was made by, I'm probably gonna butcher this, but LXYAN, so probably LXYAN. Probably gonna say that wrong, but they did design this farm here, and it is using the very technique you don't see too often, is these kind of like a fast pushback for the flying machine that gets used over here. But it's not really a flying machine because there's no sticky pistons at all for this. It's all based off pushing with the regular pistons and then the pushback. It's just a very, very cool concept that definitely doesn't get used often at all. You definitely go check the video out there. They show this video or this tree farm off, and it is something that fits our use case here very, very nicely with having just 4 tree farms in the corner. So being able to compact all these 6 tree types into one, or 7 tree types actually, it's even better with the red mushrooms edition, into one farm fits our needs very, very nicely. And yeah, be sure to go check their video out. We did the same thing with all the ones, shulker box unloaders and loaders over here. This bonemeal farm was made by Dark. We have 4 of them, so they make 100,000 bonemeal here. So we just added some shulker box unloaders, or shulker box loaders here for the bonemeal, and then everything else was made by Dark with this cool signs on the back of pistons, pretty much acting like obsidian or non-movable blocks. But it pretty much gives it that sleeker look instead of just having some obsidian blocks sticking out on the edge because the signs aren't full blocks. And I think it does fit our needs very, very nicely here. They do have a video on this, so there is a link in the description for this. Yeah, so get back to the video here to get out of your way. Alright, so we have the full perimeter completely done. Everything is up and running. There's a couple things for this one over here. You can see we did have to change some of the blocks around the blast chamber here because we need the higher blast resistance, or else the walls of the blast chambers would blow up. I don't know why the whole thing wasn't made out of obsidian, but I guess just to be a little bit more resource friendly for that. Still need to do all the filters here, which is what these shulker boxes will be for. So we'll get in some more fungus and everything we need to do for that, just to fill up all these ones over here. But yeah, the farm does work. We have it fully functional. There will be something I'll be working on to hopefully get a nice showcase video of everything in this perimeter, because I think it would look pretty cool. But we do have all the walls here to give you that kind of immersive feeling with the fence and the sky in the background. I think it does really, really make it better, kind of like it ties everything together as the walls should, and it's, a bit of detail into it, so it's not just like some random pattern that we're just repeating over and over again, but we have this kind of immersive feeling with the walls and everything on the side here. So yeah, really like this area turned out. This was actually one of the ones that we didn't really fully plan out everything. So there's just multiple schematics, and we just didn't put everything together in creative like we usually do for most of our projects. But this one here, we kind of just had the tree farms positioned in a certain way, which ones we wanted to use, and then we made the storage a bit later. Then we made the tree around it. Then we made the bone meal later. So everything was kind of not thrown together beforehand. So this turned out really, really nice in the end here. And yeah, so it's definitely fun to see some things develop as they go and not have the full schematic, already done and creative and everything. But it is kind of nerve wracking when things don't work, when you don't test stuff like different blast resistance of blocks compared to iron blocks compared to concrete. But you live and you learn. So test everything before you do it. And I still try to do that, and I didn't think about that for some reason. But yeah, so all the farms work here. We have our central storage in the bottom of the tree, which has been getting use of everything almost. So even the bee hives or the bee nests here, we've been using those. Every single tree type, they get a lot of birch from that bee nest one. So we've got to run the spruce one a little bit more. But we have pretty much everything here besides another trees we need to store. Once I get those filters all in, and we'll be good to go. But it does work. Everything in this perimeter has been tested and works. Which is very nice. So if we ever need wood for anything besides brown mushrooms or some of the azalea trees, we really don't really need any of those. So if we do, we'll make a small farm or something, but it wouldn't be in this perimeter. I don't really want to ruin what we have here because it does look very, very cool. So yeah, that's gonna be it for episode. Like I said, hopefully next week it'll be a bit of a different video. We're not gonna have an AutoCraft episode. I think I'm gonna try to do a nice edit for this air perimeter and have that uploaded instead. So yeah, let's see what we can do. And share, like, subscribe, all those sorts of things, and I'll see you in the next one.